Hello, it's another quick recording, quick chat as I'm out for a walk with Lottie this morning on the 15th of June 23. And what is a beautiful June day. And it's not yet 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm wishing I'd gone out an hour earlier because quite hot. So I like it, but Lottie is getting old, so she's finding it a bit warm, I think. But I'm just gently walking up the hill. Lottie's 13th birthday the other day, so she's doing very well. For a Labrador, still be managing to go up the hill. So after what feels like months of saying that I almost finished the first draft of the next Devonshire Mystery, I've actually managed it the other day, a few days ago. Couldn't quite believe it actually that I'd finally got there. So that was a very good feeling. Well, strange feeling actually. I thought it's kind of been ahead of me for so long. I kind of thought, oh, what do I do now? You know, it's quite a strange feeling. You've been working away at something. Of course, the work kind of continues. Some people set aside things for weeks or months even, but I didn't want to do that. I don't tend to do that. I give myself a few other tasks to do for the day afterwards, just as a bit of a break. There are lots of other things that I need to do with some of my older books, to sort of give them a freshen up. But yeah, after that, I was kind of itching to get back into it, and partly I don't want to put it aside for a long time because I want the details fresh in my mind, because with a mystery there's an awful lot of things to kind of think about, and just having an idea of what places look like and where things are in relation to each other is important. Now, of course, that, because it took me quite a long time to write, some of those ideas will have inevitably changed. Just the way of it, you get ideas as you're going along, and you think, oh yeah, I'll make this on the spur of the moment, and it's a good idea. You leave it because it all fits, and maybe add something. So then when you come back to look at it, you kind of think, I need to now resolve that. I need to have that mean something, or perhaps I've created an error. And to do that, you kind of need to have as much of the whole book in your head as you possibly can. This is quite a long one. It's kind of the length of 3 shorter type novels, at least. So it's a lot to hold in your head. But if I get on with it now, I've got the benefit of the things I wrote at the end of the book are fresh in my mind. So when I'm going through the next draft, which isn't like a wholesale rewrite for me these days, I'm pretty careful with my first draft. I'm not the fastest in the world, but I kind of like to take a bit of care with it and a bit of time with it. Go as fast as I can, because obviously that gets the book done, but I don't kind of churn things out as a rule. Some days faster than others. Yeah, so but there are lots of things there that I could probably leave and they'd be fine and nobody would know any different. But there are things that kind of just, if they give me an itch as I'm going through, I make changes. They could be little things like realising I've repeated a word or phrase too often or too near to each other. I don't like to do that. I like to kind of keep things varied. I think it's nicer for the reader. I think it can be jarring if you reuse phrases too often. So yeah, that's where we are now, and I've got part way through it. As I say, it was a reasonable first draft, so that means I get through several chapters a day of going through, tweaking, there are things to think about a little bit more, because in the first draft I tried to stop myself doing too much in the way of research. So I put a couple of square brackets or a hash mark, something like that, just something you wouldn't normally use in writing, just to stand out. And that basically means, go and check this, go and find out this, or think of a name for this. It's okay to give yourself permission to sort of come back and fix some things later, but now is the time to do that. So now is the point where I have to go back and look for things, check things, make sure I haven't said anything too preposterous. It's a bit of suspension of disbelief, I think, in this kind of book. Bit of artistic license, but sometimes in the rush of writing the first draft, I might not be able to think of a good street name or something like that, say. And whereas now I will go and I'll have a look and I'll decide, do I want to use a real street name? Do I want to make one up? Do I want to make one that has some resemblance to one, and so on, things like that. So although I use some real towns and villages, as you probably know, Ember Vale itself is fictional, so I play fairly fast and loose with the geography of local towns. Lottie, come out of that. Good girl. Goodness me, something has eaten, I think it's a crow. Wow, there's just a mass of black feathers. A few bones, which is odd. Or is that just a bit of broken stick? Ooh, gory things you see. We seem to be seeing a few remains at the moment, so whether that's foxes or badgers or something, I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's birds of prey, because I think they tend to pick a carcass clean and leave it there. I'm not sure about that. I think they tend not to go off with them. So probably foxes and badgers around here that have caught a bird. And a few of those, or a rabbit. Anyway. Nice, like rural interlude. Otherwise, it's a beautiful day. The sky is just a few little wisps of cloud, otherwise bright blue, and it's a lovely time of year, though people are finding it quite warm, because we've had this heat spell for quite a while in various bits of the UK. I quite like it, but it does get, later on in the day, I shall probably start to feel a bit exhausted. And sitting in a room over a computer is not so nice. It's lovely to be outdoors at this time of year, but when you're sitting in a room tapping away, you get to feel a bit funny after a while. I need to go and get some air and lots of water. I'm trying to do lots of hydration at the moment, because I think I wasn't being good enough, especially now that I've taken up running. It's finally made me give in, because Sue, that's Mrs. C, has been telling me for years to drink more water. Kids tell me to drink more water. And I've been going, yeah, I'm fine, I have lots of cups of tea. But anyway, I'm now drinking more water. So that's good. It's supposed to be good for you, isn't it? And I'm really, so far, quite pleased with the book, going back to that subject. Pretty pleased with it. I think it's going okay. It seems to be moving along at a pace which I'm pleased about. I was worried that because it was so long, I thought, am I dragging this out? Am I teasing it out to the point where people think get on with it? But I don't think so, because I think the chapters are fairly pacey. There's something important in each one. They're not fillers. There's either a clue or a bunch of suspects to meet. Lots of conversations, because of course they've got to go around and talk to people. They've got to give their version of events. We need to give Dan and Alan something to go on, rather than just Dan's famed intuition. They've got to have things that people say or don't say, and do or don't do. They've got to be there. so it'll have to be put in. Some of it misleading. It's a bit of a red herring, and some of it is a clue, but you might not know that until later on. Coming over style now, which is my hand's a bit full. So I better sign off there, I think, and get Lottie home and give her lots of water. She's done very well. We didn't quite go all the way up the hill today. Okay, so just heading back into the lane now, back down to the village. There's a bit of shade in the lane, thankfully, which is nice. So I'd better sign off and get back to that editing and tweaking the manuscript, and hopefully start sharing some snippets. I do seem to be getting a bit behind on things like putting photos on the website and stuff, unfortunately, but it's just a question of getting that manuscript done. So yeah, it's good. It's hopefully not that long, and the time will go quickly before it finally comes out. So I'll have to start thinking about getting covers and things organised. But as I go down the shady lane, I'd better sign off. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen. It's always great to have you along, and thank you very much for support and encouragement and messages and so on, comments on the website, all that kind of thing. Of course, for buying the books and leaving ratings and reviews. It's lovely to have those. They do make a difference. They're really nice, whether it's on a retailer or on Goodreads, or whether you manage to tell some family or friends about the books. All these things, they do really add up and create a ripple effect. That's really nice. It's lovely to hear when somebody sends me a message and says, I've just found these books and I've read all of them, and you just think that's really, really nice. It's so encouraging. It gives me kind of a good reason to carry on and do the next one. So huge thank you to everybody, and a massive thank you to people who've sent me a mug of tea on coffee.com, which you can find on the website at michaelcampling.com. You can find a button there if you want to send me a mug of tea or hot beverage of your choice, or cold beverage. Go and have a hot drink in a minute, I think, when I've sorted Lottie out. So take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.